The following problem states how many oxygen atoms are in 225 grams of O2. Well, let's first start off this problem by drawing a think map. Well, we need to find oxygen atoms, but they give us grams of diatomic oxygen. So grams of oxygen, how do we go from grams of oxygen to oxygen atoms? Well, in order to go from grams to atoms, we need to first convert to moles. So we're going to go from grams of diatomic oxygen to moles of diatomic oxygen. Now, they're not asking for how many O2 atoms there are. They're asking for how many oxygen atoms. So then we're going to have to convert from moles of O2 to moles of oxygen. And then finally going to oxygen atoms. Well, in order to go from grams to moles, we can use the molecular weight, because molecular weight has units of grams per mole. In order to go from moles of oxygen, of diatomic oxygen, to moles of oxygen, we need to use the ratio of, for every 1 mole of O2, there's 2 moles of oxygen. So we'll use that ratio, that 2-to-1 ratio, to convert between the two. And then finally, to go from moles of oxygen to oxygen atoms, we need to use Avogadros number. So let's start off with 225 grams of diatomic oxygen multiplied by the molecular weight, which is 32 grams of oxygen. So grams and grams of oxygen cancels out, and we have 1 mole of oxygen on top. Because remember, for molecular weight, it's grams per mole. Now we need to convert from moles of oxygen, of diatomic oxygen, to moles of oxygen. We know for every 1 molecule of oxygen, there's 2 moles of oxygen. Now we need to convert from moles of oxygen to atoms of oxygen, and this is Avogadros number, which states 1 mole of oxygen is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd oxygen atoms. This ends up equaling 8.47 times 10 to the 24th atoms of oxygen. So remember, when you approach this problem, you always have to make sure you're converting to moles, because moles can convert to atoms by using Avogadros number. So in this case, we went from grams of oxygen, converted to moles of oxygen by using molecular weight, and then we converted from moles of O2 to moles of oxygen by using the ratio for every molecule of O2, there's 2 moles of oxygen within that molecule. And then we use Avogadros number to convert from moles of oxygen to oxygen atoms. Thank you.